Hello everyone, this is Spartan here, and today we'll be looking at a new faction preview on the latest patch, which is patch 0.6. And yeah, you can clearly see that there is actually a UI change here, where previously you only see like what Cao Cao, Meng Huo, Cao Ren, Zhang Liu, and maybe Liu Bei, 5 of them. Yeah, I think it's 5 of them or something. I'm not sure, but now we have Ma Chao,
威教海内，乱世遂定。
Sun Quan. Now we will be doing a faction preview about Sun Quan, and maybe tomorrow we'll be continuing the preview with Zou Yuan. So these are the for patch 0.6, both Zou Yuan and Sun Quan is getting the new treatment, while the rest, for example, Sun Quan is using the Sun Jian's mechanic, and Shi Yi is the Sima. Who is the Sima?
我的目标十分明确。
司马越的所作所为，皆是为王朝着想。即便内战将至，
Sima Yue. This is Sima Wei's faction mechanic, and this is Sima Qiong's faction mechanic, and lastly this is the Sima Lun's faction mechanic. So for the Shi clan and his vessels, I don't think so I need to explain much. Even if I do, I would like do a one-shot video just like how I did for Cao Cao and Yuan Shang. Because all these are already a known faction mechanics, so I don't have to explain much, especially for those who already have the 8 Prince DLC. But for those who don't, maybe I'll go in and have a chit chat for a while, maybe tell you about why you should do this and that to ensure that you actually gain something out of your faction mechanic. And for patch 0.6, we're actually seeing some buffs for Huang Zu, who actually got a slightly larger army. So if you actually saw our previous faction preview on Huang Zu, he starts off with like maybe just a few troops. So I've already made my point here that he needs to be a little bit buffed, and yes, he's now buffed in 0.6, so that's something good. Lastly, we have our Sun Quan, who has the reformation from the Sima Ai faction. I'll do this in another faction preview eventually, but for now, our primary goal is to suffer under Sun Quan's mechanic, because he's the third guy we need to talk about, since the Chibi is about Liu Bei, Sun Quan, and eventually Cao Cao. And yes, I will be skipping most of the faction unit as well as your mercenary outposts. These are all taken from Sun Jian and Sun Ce, so nothing much. But I'll be talking more on your new tax collector and the authority, as well as our character, which is we have abundance of characters here. So let us go into the game, and I'll see you there, explain everything, and hopefully you guys could actually understand a thing or two about Sun Quan. So let us get in then. Alright, so okay. Partial, it's fine, it's not wrong. I just say some money, no point.
我的激情更盛了。
孙坚白下。Alright, so first of all, I'll be starting with the, as usual, your landmass your commandery. You start off with, of course, your main commandery of Danyang, and followed by Kuai Ji, Linhai, Northern Jian'an, Southern Jian'an, Jingdu. You have parts of Guangling. You actually have parts of Lujiang. You have also Luoyang. Now, I am going to remove all this, so you don't have to look at this. And alright, so this is the thing. We are going to start off. I already told you about your land. Now we are going to start with the characters. Now look at this. There is just so many characters in your court. Of course, the most important is your faction leader Sun Quan, and you have your bodyguard Zhou Tai, your sister Sun Ren, and Yu Fan, and Han Dang, Yuan Shu's daughter Yuan Anyang. If you actually have the MTU mod, she'll be looking like this. If you are playing without the MTU mod, you won't be getting this art style as well as the model. You also have your latest edition, which is Pan Zhang. You also have Zhu Zhi and Liu Shang. You have your stern advisor Zhang Zhao and Zhang Hong. You are the diplomat. You have Jiang Xing. You have your sister-in-law. I think she's your sister-in-law. If let's say I were to make things right. So Da Xiao and Zhu Gejing and Yuan Shu San, Yuan Yao. You have also Lu Xun, Lu Su, Huang Gai, Cheng Hu. And you have your Sun Hao, Chen Wu, Dong Xi, and Wu Yong, Zhu Huan, Zhu Ran, your wife Hu Lianshi, Sun Xiao, and of course Sun Yu. I believe these are all the characters that you have, so 29 of them total. Now, you actually have a dilemma here. I'm going to speak about dilemma first. First thing, you have a negative 1,769 income that is based on minus 4.4k of salary and stuff, so your basic income is 5.5 expenditure, yeah. So total up your income and your expenditure, you have a negative 1.7k income per turn. And in Danyang itself, in the Wu commandery, you have a small looter force. This is nothing much. You can always start off by just using Pan Zhang and just erase him. Alright, just erase him. Overall, you can do this first. There is nothing wrong in delegating the first fight. You can also do more on, let's say, if you want to gain more XP, you can always go for manual fight. But for now, this is faction preview, so we are going to just skip the thing. Alright, so now we have an issue where our economy just dropped by 700. Oh, it must be one of the buffs. Oh, sorry. Alright, I'll talk about the faction mechanic later. But first of all, I'll be deleting this stack. This is a good stack, so always just like delete it when you are not using in the first 10 turn, but you can eventually get a better stack, so no worries. And the second dilemma you have is Zhengxiang is all the way in the south. You have your Yu Fan and Han Dang, which can reach Southern Xi'an within 3 turns, I believe. Yeah, 3 turns. So use these 3 turns wise. Use the 3 turns wisely. Build up a force. Make sure you defend Southern Jian'an because Zhengxiang would eventually come and invade Southern Jian'an. Yeah. And if you want to be safe, you can always build your stack here. You can prepare your stack here, and then if let's say Xinjiang were to move south, you can march all the way inside to this settlement. If she march north to northern Jinan, you can always return. But make sure that once Sun Pen has a full stack of his own, call him to eradicate Zheng Jiang's only land here. So she don't own a lot of land, she just only has this Liu Ling Yang Tu here. So Sun Pen has the Liu Ling commandery as his own, so you better let him take over. No point in you keeping. Next up, you have, of course, you are at war with Zhang Liao, but notice that while Zhang Liao only have Yue Jing with him, he will eventually spawn a third person, which is Liu Lingqi, Liu Ji, and most likely kill your vassal here, which is Chen Nan. So this is an issue here. You have two stacks. Officially, you have two stacks which is able to do a lot of stuff. One is Zhou Tai, one is Sun Quan. Decide who you are going to build a full stack and attack. Of course, you have your Zhou Tai to launch an invasion into Hefei. He can do this all by himself. For Sun Quan, I would suggest that you invade their Guangling, or if you want to face to face with Zhang Liao, go ahead, build up this stack. You already know that you have mercenary units. Spam the mercs and then sail all the way down, invade, straight up take out Juchao and invade into Shouchun, clear up the entire Huainan commandery as well as the Guangling commandery. And diplomacy wise, you are not at war with Cao Cao, I believe, but yeah, you are at war with Zhang Fa and Huang Zhu. So previously, in the previous patch, especially 0.5 and before 0.5, Sun Quan is a large faction. He only had Sun Pen as a vassal, but as well as Chen Nan, but he doesn't have Zhou Yu as a faction of his own. But with the introduction of 0.5, he decided to let's make Zhou Yu a faction of his own. So now you have 3 vassals. As for declaration of war, you start off that war with Zheng Jiang, Huang Zhu, and Zhang Liao. But during Ironic's preview, the main modder's preview, he noticed that we are basically killing Zhang Liao too fast. It is way too easy, and we have decided to add another one more challenger, which is Zhang Fa. This is why if let's say you were to take Guangling commandery, you will have to face the Xuzhou's Zhang Fa. So that is basically your dilemma. And now, I won't be talking about the unique units. I believe most of you, if you own the Fates Divided, not Fates Divided, A World Betrayed DLC, as well as the base game, you should be able to have access. Even if you don't have A World Betrayed, you should have access to Tiger Guard as well as the Handmade Guard. These two, which are the unique units for Sun Ce. So I don't have to explain that, as well as the mercenary X-Men and the gang. I don't have to explain that a lot. And what else can I say? Oh yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to talk about the latest text collection buildings, which is unique for Sun Quan. Now there is some changes made, and if you can see from the UI here, you have a plus 25 income from commerce, plus 55 income from peasantry, but you have a minus 1 family support, minus 1 general support, minus 1 clan support. This is the new buff and debuff for rural tax collector for Sun Quan. And if you go to the highest, you can clearly see that you are gaining base income from commerce and peasantry, but you need to sacrifice your faction mechanics, the support. But this is basically something new, a change for the original text correction, like people playing text and people getting unhappy. Like for Liu Bei, he has his Shu Han text collection, so it actually helps him by giving him some boost to his militia replenishment and stuff. But this one, of course you need to trade off your support in exchange for a better base income. This can be done faction wide. Basically, you just need to build all your text collection everywhere in your main building. You definitely will have the space, so no worries. Now the court, the court here, as you can see, this is basically from, I believe, Sun Ce's UI design for his composition. So you can actually see how Sun Quan inherited, I think so, Sun Ce's court mechanic, but he also has the Liu Hong's mechanic, but it has been changed to local gentry support. This used to be bureaucracy. Family support, this used to be the dynasty, and general support, which used to be a warlord, and authority, which used to be Liu Hong's faction mechanic. I forgot the name of it, but it is now changed to authority. And if you look at authority itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 phases. At the lowest phase, you are a shambolic, and you will get a 250 authority faction wide. So you get quite a debuff, especially with 35% increase in corruption and minus 50% diplomatic income from tributaries and stuff. It is quite bad for you, but you will get 20 family support, general support, and clan support. Once you reach shameful, of course there will be some deduction, and slowly you will have your shattering and shaky. Once you reach superficial, you are basically balanced. Here you can see you start to have a +4 satisfaction. Once you are steady, you start to lose some supports everywhere, but you also get a better faction-wide buffs. For example, that -1 construction time and the +8 satisfaction, +10% diplo. All these are good for you. Solid, the same thing. Soaring, the same thing. And lastly is, I believe the last one is Supreme. Yeah. So you want to go for the highest tier of authority, which is Supreme. Although yes, you will lose 10 family support, general support and stuff. It is normal, but you eventually you can always play with the mechanic. There is nothing wrong, but the bonus that you actually gain from being Supreme is actually quite good, I would say. And apart from authority, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. You can actually gain authority by winning battles, but you will lose authority if you actually lose a battle. Yeah, so you have to make sure that you win battles to ensure that your authority stays at the Supreme. Because if you keep losing, you'll be eventually reach the shambolic tier, which isn't that good for you actually. Now, local gentry support. We are at 110 local gentry support at the start. How do you get local gentry support? You will be getting from 17 buildings and 8 characters who are of gentry support, which is this logo. Yeah, the green one. And 17 buildings is based on the, let me check. Yeah, as you can see here, we want to find something gen. Each building have a support of their own. Like if I were to build in, I can -1 general support by +1 clan support. I build school, I get +2 clan support and stuff. This is general support, and this is general and clan support, but you family support and stuff. This is how you balance things out in your building slot. So if you look at your local gentry support, this is just the first tier, I believe. Balance itself, you already have a minus 15% food production faction wide, but in exchange you will actually gain 25% income from all sources. You get 2 available administration position as well as plus 15% trade influence. You only need to trade minus 100 complacency faction wide. Basically is actually your authority. Yeah, it's complacency. Oh sorry, not authority but complacency. So you minus 100% 100 complacency faction wide. You have to decrease your reinforcement range by 20%. You will get a minus 4 morale faction wide. This is not a single unit. This is the entire faction will get minus 4 morale in every battle faction wide. But if you were to go to the next tier, balance. Oh, I believe this is bugged. If you are in controlling, you will get a minus 10 morale faction wide, minus 50% food reduction, minus 50% reinforcement range, and minus 250 complexity. These are all faction wide debuffs. So you have to be worried about local gentry. And of course, in return, you get 75% more trade influence. You also have 100% income from all sources, and an extra 5 available administration positions. This is the trade-off that you'll be getting. Now for family support, you are currently at around strong. So as you can see here, you have to deduct 2 available admin position. You got a minus 25% income from family estates, as well as a plus 25% desire for higher office. These are all faction-wide stuff. But the trade-off is you gain 150 authority, you gain 6 public order everywhere, you get minus 15% recruitment cost, and you get plus 6 morale in own territory, as compared to this minus 4 morale faction-wide. If you look at the plus 6 morale in own territory, if you do your calculation right, we are now having a plus 2 morale in own territory. But if we were to fight in other factions territory, yeah, we will be getting that minus 4, we won't be getting a plus 6. Last but not least, we have our general support, and it is in balance, so we have a minus 50 complacency. You definitely need to have a 25% character salary increase, upkeep costs for all units 10% increase, and income from all sources a 15% decrease. These are faction wide. In return, you get a plus 2 starting rank for all recruits, plus 10% charge bonus for all units, and plus 4% replenishment faction wide. So you can always go do a check and balance on all 3 resources. Like if let's say you want more family, go ahead, but if you don't want the debuffs, make sure that you try to balance it using your local gentry and general support. This is how you balance things up, because you don't want one side to be on the full while the other side to be on the least. Like look at here, 1 2 3, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 person in the court is already general support. You want something to balance things out. For example, if let's say I want Sun Quan to be my heir, I want a more family support, I want Sun Quan to be my grand archetype or director of record, put her there, eventually we'll get some increase. So, and then I want some, let's say I want some local gentry support, so now it's 110. If I were to add this, this is plus 1 faction wide, so and stuff. this is how you want to. I think you'll get the bonus the next turn or something. I'm not sure, but kind of feel like bug for me. Or maybe I'm finished. But overall, it's not showing me the increased what we call resources. But yeah, there is. We might patch it later, but no worries. We can always get a better patch and stuff. So no worries. Oh yeah, there is one more. As Sun Quan, you can actually have a execute. You actually do have an execute option instead of the normal release from service and release remove from office. Initially, before patch 0.6, it doesn't have this, but we decided to add it. We told Ironic to add it because he did eventually execute a few people, so it is normal for him to have some some execute options to like execute someone. If let's say I don't like, let us just try. Oh come on, game. Alright, let's say Pan Zhang. I don't want Pan Zhang, so out of no reason, or should I try and see if someone who is Dong Xi is not on good terms with Sun Quan, so if you execute him, you get a 75 authority, but you will lose 20 gentry support because Dong Xi is actually a gentry local gentry support, so it provides the gentry class some resource, some buffs. If you execute him, you definitely get a minus. Of course, you get 1.2k confiscated funds, but you will have to face a minus 15 satisfaction faction wide. This is the punishment for Sun Quan if you were to play as him and you simply execute someone. You want to be efficient, you don't want the cash, you don't want the satisfaction debuff, just send him to die on the battlefield instead of executing him. If you are willing to take the risk of a minus 15 satisfaction, go ahead. But do remember, family at max is a 75% desire for higher office. This is in official patch 0.6. If this is during the pre 0.6, during the development phase of Sun Quan, we actually made it to 100% desire for higher office. Imagine how fast they would all run away from you. This is the latest patch, which is already nerfed the desire for higher office, so you don't have a lot of characters running every single turn. Yeah, I don't think so there is a nerf in general support in controlling, but you have a nerf in controlling for family support, and that's basically the faction mechanic for Sun Quan. Any more that I need to say? I don't have to talk about the unit, so I don't have to go to turn 2. I have already told you about your starting position. I have already told you your troops, how you are going to deal with the current situation, as well as faction mechanics. So yeah, I think that is all for Sun Quan. Hopefully you will find this preview useful, especially those who wanted to try out Sun Quan in the current patch. Yeah, it is a punishment to play as Sun Quan if you don't actually understand his faction mechanics that well. But it is actually quite fun if you manage to steamroll Zhang Liao and Zhang Ba, because you are a big faction, you will eventually destroy Sun Quan, and if you are lucky, you can get her as a prime minister if she ever comes to your court. So yeah, I think for today I'll just be talking about Sun Quan, and tomorrow I'll be doing for Zou Yu. Sorry. And yeah, that is basically the two that I want to cover for this week. Consider this also part of the copium guide because you will eventually need to know what you are going to do in the faction preview. Oh yeah, I forgot. I actually suggested the addition of Liu Tu for Liu Biao as a vessel, but since he's not going to be a playable faction, so might as well not talk about him. So yeah, today I'll just talk about Sun Quan. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Zou Yu. And thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in Zou Yu's faction preview tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.